tonight. This is our endorsement meeting for 2023, and it's a really important night that our committee has put so much effort into. And with this call to meeting, I'm just going to invite everyone to really be present, to really be thoughtful and kind, and for us to really listen well to others, to be considerate, and to give me grace. Because if something, I may need to depend on my parliamentarian, but by all means, this is all about our candidates, all about making sure that the Democratic Party, we are working as a team. So I just want to say in advance, I appreciate all of you. And I'm looking forward to a really good meeting. And going to our agenda, so the first thing that I would like to do is call Hunter Brown to give an acknowledgement of tribal lands. If we can spotlight Hunter Brown.
Thank you so much, Carrie. Niti Yagali Du, on behalf of King County Democrats, I acknowledge the land on which we stand today as the traditional home of the Coast Salish and Duwamish tribes, and the traditional home of all tribes and bands within the Suquamish, Tulalip, Snoqualmie, and Muckleshoot nations. Since time immemorial, they have cared for these lands while sustainably hunting, fishing, and gathering upon them. We thank them as the original caretakers of our land and waters, and for their continued stewardship and advocacy. Furthermore, we recognize their invaluable contributions to our state, history, economy, and culture. We respect their sovereignty, their right to self-determination, and honor their sacred spiritual connection with the land and water. We'll strive to be honest about our past mistakes and trespasses and bring about a future that includes their people, stories, and voices to form a more just and equitable society. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Hunter. Next on our agenda is the adoption. Our consent agenda got a little wonky in my formatting, so I apologize. But this is both tonight's agenda and our May meeting minutes. And both of those are posted in the call to meeting. And I will entertain a motion to adopt our consent agenda of the May minutes and our agenda for tonight.
So moved.
Second.
Are there any objections? Are there any objections? Last call, any objections? Hearing none, we have adopted the agenda for tonight, and we have also adopted our May minutes. And moving on, I would just love to give just a brief address, and I kind of give it in the beginning, but what I really want to say is I really look forward to tonight. I look forward to the work of our endorsement committee. And as I feel, I cannot say enough how much work our endorsement committee has put in. There have been folks who have attended every meeting. There have been countless times where I'm just in awe of the work that our chair, Martin Cheney, our vice chair, Beth Baisley, our committee lead, Kat Pipkin, that they have put in to tonight. We are viewing their product, and with all the volunteer hours, I just cannot share enough that this is what makes the county a team. This is what makes us who we are. And I just really want to give a huge shout out to all the endorsement committee members. And if you are an endorsement committee member, could you use your raised hand so that everybody can see you? I just want you to, we can't stand up in a big room, but please put your hand up so that we can recognize you for all your work. Thank you guys so much. It is just wonderful, and I'm grateful for all of you. So thank you. Now I'm gonna, how do I put those down now? Aha, I remember how to do it. Thank you. Okay, I'm gonna clear all the hands. Thank you so much, endorsement committee. It means a lot. And we really get to go through tonight with all of your recommendations and a few more, so appreciate you. Next on our agenda is we have a code of conduct report and a resolution on discipline, and I'm going to go ahead and bring up Jeremy Barksdale so he can go through the report, go through the recommendations, and then afterwards I will entertain a motion to adopt his
All right, thank you.
resolution.
Thank you, Carrie. All right, hey, everybody. So this is a code of conduct case that preceded me and the current code of, couple of the current committee members, but Scott was gracious enough to write it up after his term expired, and so bringing it forward to act on that committee's decisions or recommendations. So in 2022, Kate Martin, who identifies as a Democrat, or at the time identified as preferring the Democratic Party, appeared and endorsed and appeared in a Tiffany Smiley ad, and Tiffany Smiley was running against Senator Patty Murray. And in the ad, she stated, "Not this time," talking about not this time for Patty Murray, not voting for Patty Murray. And she has admitted this behavior, so there's no contention about whether it happened. And the code specifically notes that members are expected to behave in a manner that advances the goals, values, and mission of the Democratic Party. And so endorsing an opponent of a candidate that has been endorsed by the King County Dems is a direct violation of that code. And so the committee recommended censuring Kate Martin and disqualifying her from King County Dems endorsements for 2 years, which would be effective from the date of this resolution. So the resolution provides some background context, basically giving the summary of the report. So if you want to read the report, if you've had a chance, you have a fuller version, but I wanted to put this in a resolution format so that everyone could see the decision in the context or rationale for the decision that we're making tonight.
And I will open it up for questions of Jeremy for folks who've read the report and have some questions regarding the resolution for Kate Martin. Galaxy.
Can I get more clarification on the statement that endorsing a candidate who is not endorsed by KCDCC is a violation of the code of conduct? I feel like I misunderstood that.
Endorsing a candidate. So in this case, Tiffany Smiley, who is running against a candidate who has been endorsed by KCDCC, which is Senator Murray. So Kate Martin showed, yeah, go ahead.
So if tonight we endorsed Nilu Jenks and I support Ty Reed, and do that vocally, I would be violating the code of conduct?
Point of information.
I guess I would say that, sorry, 1 second. So the difference is that Tiffany Smiley is a Republican and is not a Democrat. So this is.
But it doesn't say in the code of conduct that you can't support Republicans. So if we're saying the interpretation is that you have to, do you see what I don't know how to phrase my question. I'm sorry. I'm a little confused about that part. Yeah,
so I think what the committee was prioritizing here was the fact that Tiffany Smiley is a Republican, specifically.
Okay, so the precedent we're setting is that okay. And okay. I'll save it for my speech. Are we doing speeches in favor and speeches against for this?
We will. I'll open the floor for debate.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. We just want to make sure everyone has our questions answered. And I believe it was that we had early endorsed Patty Murray, if I'm remembering correctly, and I apologize. And the fact that she leveraged the fact she was a Democrat, leveraging the fact that the privilege and access of her being a Democrat to further a Republican in a race against the incumbent was the value aspect of that piece. And I'm sure there's more of it, and Jeremy could clarify, but that the value of being public in a commercial, so a national TV ad, leveraging the fact she is a Democrat to further elect a Republican who's running in opposition. It was.
Can I ask a further follow?
Yep, I'll go to Chris, Galaxy.
Can I ask?
uh,
Oh, I just got unmuted again. Am I allowed to talk or not? I have a direct follow-up question, but I can
I'll let
wait.
your, okay, I will call on you. I'm going to
Thank
get
you.
through a couple questions, but I'll swing back to you. Thank you,
Okay, cool.
Galaxy. Chris Porter.
Yes, and thank you, Chair. I just want to get my brain wrapped around, is it absolutely and positively necessary in a democratic organization to point out that you can't, you shouldn't, as a member calling yourself a Democrat, go out of your way to support a Republican? Because we don't do that, and we haven't, that I'm aware of. Do we need to be that abundantly clear about the conduct expected of members in this organization, that it is out of conduct and character to hold yourself as a Democrat, participate in this organization, and then support a Republican, whether it is one that is running against a candidate we endorsed or not? That is the central tenet of this organization. Do we really need that clarification? I just want to get my brain wrapped around that.
Point of order,
I don't think we do.
question or a speech?
That's a question. That's a question, because Galaxy had questioned whether or not was the issue around the fact that the candidate was Republican. And I just want to say, do we really need that spelled out for clarification? That in a democratic organization.
Yes, I did need that spelled. I'm stupid and autistic, and I sometimes need things
Oh,
spelled out for clarification.
No, absolutely not. I think, go ahead. Jeremy, I'll let you answer.
I would say that in the report, it's spelled out very clearly that even Republican is italicized to emphasize the fact that this was a Republic, that Kate Martin was in an ad supporting a Republican while stating that she preferred the Democratic Party and is a Democratic PCO.
And again, written policy is always good. So that is something that, Jeremy, we've had these conversations. So thank you. I'm going to go to Chris, and then Tara, Sophia, Judy, and then come back to you, Galaxy, before we move this. Just because this is just questions, this isn't debate.
Thank you. My question is about eligibility here. Jeremy just said that Kate was a Democratic PCO when this ad was, and therefore a member of the King County Democrats when she made this part and participated in this ad. My understanding is that, and correct me if I'm wrong, well, I'll just ask the question, was she a Democratic PCO when the ad was made?
Let me confirm, but I believe that is the case.
My sense is that she became a Democratic PCO on December 1st, 2022, and the ad was made prior to the election, so she would not be a PCO at the time.
Was she PCO elect but not seated?
So I'll read what's in the report here. It says the GOP is not a third party, and openly advocating for the GOP is fundamentally inconsistent with being a Democratic PCO.
If I may, I have records on.
Okay, I'm going to let our chair of the PCO committee answer that question, Alex.
Yeah, so she was in fact not an elected PCO at that time. She was elected in the May election, so she would have been a PCO elect if it happened after, or sorry, the August primary, I believe. She would have been a PCO elect, but not a PCO at the time of this. So that's
in October of 2022.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, next question. I have Tara.
Yeah, I'm really unclear on the specific standing of King County Democrats to do any form of discipline on this matter. It seems like it should be the state party, given that it was a statewide office. What is our particular standing here?
That's the question. What is our standing to oversee this versus the state party?
Yeah, it's a good question. I guess, and this isn't covered in the report, but I guess what I would suggest is that maybe because this has implications as well at the King County level, even though it's a federal race. So but it's not covered in terms of in the actual report.
Thank you. Sophia Lee.
Yeah, hi. Are we going through this because this person has endorsed a Republican, or because she has endorsed a Republican as a Democrat, using her credentials as a Democrat and openly identifying as a Democrat? Because because I'm wondering, are we going into our personal endorsements, or is this because she was abusing her status as a Democrat to push for a Republican?
I would say it's because she endorsed and spoke negatively or critically of. She endorsed a Republican in the ad and spoke in the ad critically of a Democratic incumbent who had been endorsed by King County Dems.
Thank you. Judy, I'll go back to you, Galaxy, Hunter, Martin, and then we will move it to debate. Judy?
Sorry, I had to. My question is, are you laying down an absolute rule, or will this be handled on a case-by-case basis? And the reason I ask that question, I spent many years in Eastern Washington as a Democrat over there and a Democratic PCO. And at one point, we had somebody running on the Democratic ticket who was so bad. He was just, it was hard to get people. Anybody who came out of the woodwork could practically get the nomination. And he was so bad. And other people said, other Dem PCOs said they used their right not to vote for the person. I said I used my right to vote for the Republican because I felt in that situation, that was the least harmful thing to do. I mean, the guy was so bad, we didn't want him representing the Democratic Party, in my view. But, you know, this again is a case by case. It's the only time I've ever done that. But it's a case by case basis. And this is why I'm asking if there's going to be a hard and fast rule, or if it will be case by case, if there can be exceptions.
So in this case, we're not bringing a new rule forward. This is just an interpretation of the current code, especially the part where it talks about that we're expected to behave in a manner that advances the goals, values, and mission of the Democratic Party.
Okay,
so there's
that's
not
fine.
yeah.
I was appalled, by the way, when Kate did this. I was utterly appalled because
Thank you.
Tiffany, but I'm just saying that I've been in a situation where voting for the Republican was the best approach.
Thank you, Judy. I appreciate that. We're going to move on to questions, but I appreciate you. Galaxy, Hunter, and then Martin.
Yeah, so for clarification, did she identify herself as a Democrat in the ad or as a member of King County Democrats? Like, did she say, I am a PCO, I am a member of King County Democrats, or did she just say, I am a Democrat?
I would have to go back and verify. But what was in the report was that she did state, I don't know if it's in the ad necessarily, but that she prefers the Democratic Party.
Okay, but she did not, to anyone's knowledge, say, I am a member of King County Democrats or I am a PCO with King County Dems.
I don't think so.
Okay.
It wasn't that granular from my memory, but I pretty confident that neither one of those were identified. Thank you. Hunter, and then Martin.
Just a point of information. I just want to clarify that if this action was done and it was for a third-party candidate or a candidate that did not identify as either a Republican or a Democrat, then essentially there would be no problem with that. Is that correct?
I don't believe so. I mean, you know, the report does state that the Republican Party is not a third party. So they went out of the way to put that aside as part of this report. Does that make sense? So if I don't think this would cause an issue for a third party because the committee excluded or mentioned that as like, hey, this is not, we're not talking about a third party, we're talking about a Republican.
Okay, thank you so much.
Martin.
Yes, I just find this a fascinating and timely issue, at least for me, because my legislative district is currently going through some deeply involved discussions about whether we should censure and or prohibit endorsements of a particular person. And so I think that the standards that we apply here are very, very germane, and I hope that that we get some clarity out of it. My reading of this is that probably the actions in my way advocated that censoring should require a code of conduct investigation, which has happened here. And also, interestingly, I have advocated that trying to prohibit somebody from being endorsed is an incursion on the rules for endorsement. And
Martin, really quick, is there a question? Because I can move, we're going to go to debate next, and this would be
okay.
a statement for. Yeah,
I'm not sure what I was not intending a statement anyway, one or another. No, I think that I'm clear enough on these things.
Thank you. Alexander.
Yeah, I was just curious if the fact that she was also running as a Democrat in an active race also weighed into the committee's decision, given that, you know, we want Democrats who are running to act a certain way.
It's a very good question. Thank you. I'm going to take Tara, Margaret, and then we'll move it to statements for and against.
Oh, is that to me? For
yes.
question? I'm just wondering what the perceived harm to the King County Democrats organization is in this. In the code of conduct, in addition to saying we expect members to behave in a manner that advances the party, we speak a lot to how behaviors have impact on the perception of the organization. And the perception is, and I'm not sure what the direct impact is thought to be here.
I don't. The committee did not necessarily speak to that directly in the report, and I don't want to go beyond. But if I was giving sort of my take on it, I mean, I think if you were to take this to the extreme, right, and every Democrat supported a Republican publicly and critiqued a Democratic candidate, an incumbent who had been endorsed by the party, I would say it weakens our position as a party, would be my interpretation, but the committee didn't speak to that in their report.
Margaret?
Yeah, I'm wondering if it's possible to adjust the language so that there is clarification between an individual endorsement, which includes no reference to the Democratic Party at all. So I know in our LD, we allow people to endorse after our committee has endorsed, but we expect them to be clear that it is a personal endorsement. So that to me seems like a distinction that would be useful moving forward.
Thank you.
Just to clarify, is the ask to update the code to reference?
Was that the
Right.
question?
I'm wondering if that, when somebody makes a statement that is a personal statement with no reference to the Democratic Party or their involvement in the Democratic Party, but just as an individual, is that something different? It seems like it would be, and then which should be incorporated in the text.
Got it. Okay, something for us
Thanks.
to follow up on. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you. Okay, I will entertain a motion to adopt the recommendation.
I think I can make the motion as the chair, right? I move that we adopt the resolution to, let me go back to the language.
Second.
Sorry, I move that we adopt the resolution to censure Kate Martin and disqualify her from receiving the King County Democrats endorsement for 2 years from the date of the resolution is adopted.
And we have a second. It has been moved
Second.
and seconded. I will open the floor for debate. We will have 2 statements for and 2 statements against. Up to, and do we have, oh, sorry, I'm going to ask my team real quick. Do we have a timer here? Is Carmen Rivera here?
I am present, Madam Chair.
Thank you. Can I have you be our timekeeper for 1-minute statements?
Yes, ma'am, you got it.
Thank you so much. Galaxy, are you speaking for or against?
Against.
Great. And Tara, are you speaking for or against?
Sorry, against.
Okay. Jeremy, do you want to make a statement for your motion? Great.
Yes. So given what I mentioned, I guess, in terms of the impact on the party, I think we should reflect, live our values, and people who are running in partisan positions should reflect the values of the party, and endorsing a Republican in a race against a good incumbent, to be clear, not just anyone, but a good incumbent who has been endorsed by King County Dems, in my opinion, and also in the opinion of the committee, is a violation of the code of conduct.
Thank you. Galaxy Marshall.
So I want to be clear, and if I do not like this member. This member makes transphobic Facebook posts and does a lot of other stuff. That's just the most recent thing that I saw and was like, oh, I do not think necessarily that this, I think there are plenty of things against our code of conduct even that one could go after this member for, so to speak. However, I really, really do not like the precedent that if you, without even identifying yourself as a member of King County, support a candidate that we don't like and that a committee decides goes against democratic values, you will be disciplined. I don't think the code of conduct does not say you cannot support Republicans. It says upholds our democratic values. And I don't see how us saying tonight, oh, well, we're only saying, I don't trust that us saying tonight, well, we're only saying it's if you support a Republican candidate, will be consistently.
Thank you, Galaxy.
Thank you. Roger, are you speaking for or against?
For.
Madam
Okay.
Chair, point
Yeah.
of order. Since I seconded, would I be speaking for?
Who seconded? I'm sorry, I can't see.
It's not a big deal. Never mind. You go for it, Roger.
The whole issue here isn't voting for a person who you think, if we have a terrible Democratic candidate and you vote for a Republican, that's not the issue. The issue here is values. And one of the things that Democrats do agree on, and we disagree on a lot, is that women should have the right to choose their lives, choose the time to start a family, and have the freedom to choose choose their own healthcare. Tiffany Smiley was against that, and she accused Patty Murray of supporting abortions at the last minute, which was incredibly dishonest. The issue here is, how can this person be a Democrat and support somebody like Tiffany Smiley? I don't see how she can. So all the punishment that I understand she's receiving here.
That is time,
not to
Roger.
get
That is
an
time.
endorsement.
You are done, Roger.
Thank you, Roger.
I'm done.
Thank you. We will now move to vote. If we could have credential, if you can pop in who the tally people are in the chat, that way people can quickly identify who that they will direct message their vote to. And the motion on the floor is to adopt the resolution to discipline Kate Martin. And I can just go through and read them right now. If you are in the 11th, 12th, 30th, 31st, 32nd, 33rd, or 34th LD, can you direct message Christina Beverlin? And I see Galaxy, I see your hand raised.
I was distracted and might have missed it. Did we have 2 speeches in favor and 2 against?
We did, we had to, did I miss one against?
I was in line for against.
My apologies. But I apologize. I will miss it now and then, and I apologize. I lost track of my paper. So Galaxy, you are correct. I am going, before we go to vote, we missed the Tara who was against.
Oh, great.
I apologize.
All right. Yeah, I was on the rules committee that developed the code of conduct, and I'll say this action is not in the spirit and barely in the letter of the original intention of the code of conduct. This is rather a big overreach in applying the code. There was no misrepresentation of the organization or misappropriation. There was no harassment of a member. I certainly disagree with Kate Martin's politics. Bad politics is not a code of conduct violation. And knowing Kate Martin, she is just going to present herself as a martyr at the altar of progressive Democrats if we go ahead with this. But in general, my problem is this is not a code of conduct matter. This is an endorsement committee matter. When she comes up again, if she runs again and comes up for endorsement, we ask if she has supported Republicans. We now know that she has supported Republicans. That's the committee where this should be addressed. Presumably, we are all appalled by her politics. Voting against this is not a vote saying her politics are great. Voting against this is saying this is a real overreach of the code of conduct, and let's handle this some other way. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Tara. And again, I apologize, lost track. So now we've had 2 speeches, 2 statements for, 2 statements against, and now we will move to vote for this executive board. And in chat is your identifying tally committee member. So again, if you are in the direct message Hannah Floss, if you are King County Democrats, DNC, King County Young Democrats, the 1st LD and the 5th LD, you are direct messaging Hannah Floss. If you are in the 36th, 37th, 41st, and 43rd LD, please direct message Tara. If you are in the 11th, 12th, 30th, 31st, 32nd, 33rd, and 34th, please message Christina Beverlin. And if you are in the 45th, 46th, 47th, and 48th, please message Yvette Magana. And we'll give a couple minutes for the vote. And I'll give it a minute, then I'll walk through what the rest of the evening looks like, the fun part. And if you need to get directly in touch with me, sometimes it's hard to keep track of different messages, and I've dedicated, so Jeremy Barksdale, first vice chair, go ahead and direct message him, and he will have that phone to get a hold of me if there's something really urgent. So I appreciate that. Just so you know, sometimes it's hard to keep track of two things. Even though I am a mom of 3 teenagers, it's still pretty hard. It still can be hard. And I want you all to have my full attention. So thank you. So I'll give it a couple minutes. And then Tally, do you need a breakout room?
That would be great. Yes, thank you.
Okay.
Are you doing that, Carrie, or do you need me to?
It would be great if you can. I would just pulled it up and got a little lost. So that'd be great. And while while they are tallying this vote, I would like to spotlight Alexander Erickson. He has a message regarding Pride Month from our DEI chair, Andrew Ashiufu. And before he plays Andrew's message, I just want to say we had a great Sunday turnout for our Pride Parade. And I just want to thank everybody for participating, for showing up. And we had our congressional delegation, we had city council members, we had state senators and state representatives, and I just want to say thank you. And I'm excited for next year too. So we'll keep growing this. But Alex, I'll let you go ahead.
I'm unable to hear him.
Oh, Alex, you're on mute. So I don't know why it's not playing, or we can't hear it.
Okay, let me try that again. Better?
Are you sharing video? Have it selected.
Oh, can you not see the video either?
No, we can see the video, but we can't hear it.
Okay.
One more time.
Hello everyone, my name is Andrew Ashofu. I am your Diversity, Equity and Inclusion Chair and also the Chair for the Washington State Stonewall Democrats. I just want to say thank you so much every one of you for coming out yesterday to support us during the Seattle Pride event. It was such a great time, fabulous time to see faces, to see everyone coming together. A huge shout out to our congressional delegation, Adam Smith, Jaya Paul, Dr. Kim Schreier, Del Benny. Thank you all for coming out, to all our elected officials in Olympia that came to support us, to City Council and Mayor elected officials here in King County, to other elected officials generally here in King County that came out to support us. We also say a big shout out to our King County Chair, Carrie Barnes, for organizing this great event and supporting every one of us. I am really so thankful. Growing up, I didn't see such great support and just seeing that happening. And before we go, don't forget that trans rights are humans' rights. Thank you, everyone.
So we had a great turnout, and we are just happy to support our community, our LGBTQ plus family members, and really, I as Democrats, this is exactly who we need to lift up in leadership, is to really, really support our community. I'm going to ask Tally, do we have a total for the Kate Martin vote?
Not yet. No, we actually lost some of the chat when we went into the breakout room. Would it be possible to have people who responded to Yvette to resend their votes? She seems to have lost her chat.
So if you are in the 45th, 46th, 47th, and 48th LD, please direct message Yvette Magana your vote. And credentialing, we also, I'm just going to read this out loud. We need a credentialed Judy Gibbs. She's the alternate for Stephanie. I'd probably say this wrong, but Stephanie Keltz for the 36th.
Great, thank you.
Thank you.
Am I the alternate for Stephanie or am I the alternate for Shep? Shep, which am I the alternate for?
You're the alternate tonight for Stephanie. You're the alternate for either one of us. So we
they're both here.
vote. We're both. I'm here, you're here, we both vote.
Okay, and Stephanie isn't. I did not vote because I didn't know I was eligible to vote.
You're eligible to vote now.
Okay, how do I vote at this point?
So Judy, you will direct message Tara Gallagher.
Okay, I hope I can find Terry here.
It's in the chat.
Tara, could you reach out to Judy and so she can direct message you?
Okay.
Yes.
Thank you. And
Okay,
Mary,
thank you very much.
of course, Mary Scanlon.
Yeah, we have at least one of our alternates here, and our alternates, remind me, are they allowed to vote as well?
No, your two voting members are your two delegates.
Okay, so, all right, thank you.
And I believe they're both here.
Yeah, thank you.
Great. Thank you.
I still have not found Terry on the list.
I just direct messaged you and I just direct messaged you. Look in your chat.
Okay.
Did you find it?
Yep, thank you.
Thank you.
I'm sorry, point of information again. Seraphy Allen is our female identified rep, and I don't see an asterisk in front of her name. Does that mean she's not credentialed, or?
That means
Hey, Mary, I didn't put an asterisk, but I can put an asterisk. I just put the number.
Okay, so she's credentialed.
So credentialing team. The 37th.
Who should be credentialed for the 30? I'm doing the 37th tally. Who
37th, yeah, it should be Khalid Bilali,
right,
as male identified, and Seraphy Allen as female
Is
identified.
that a new rep or a new alt? Because I don't have either of those names.
I was going to ask to make sure she gets added to the contact list. Yeah, she's new as of this month.
So she's replacing Lynn?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, can you message? Well, all right, I've got that vote here. Okay, thank you.
Great. So we will gather that vote. We'll let our credentialing team. I just want to walk through what tonight looks like. And it's similar to our last endorsement meeting, just a little extra, which is we are going to vote on two slates. We're going to vote on a slate, and I'm going to put this in chat. We're going to vote on the slate of the single LD jurisdiction races that have been forwarded to us. We will then vote on the recommendation slate of the candidates that the endorsement committee recommends for endorsement. After that, we will vote on the candidates that have been pulled out of the recommendation slate. And the method to do that is one, fill out the form, which I'm hoping can be put in chat right now. It just helps us keep organized. I will also, when we get to that portion, that slate, I will ask for division. It doesn't need a second. It's a motion to pull out a candidate from the main motion on the floor, which is the endorsement recommendation. So I'm going to repeat that. We're going to vote first on the slate of the LD single LD jurisdiction races, and we'll post those. I'm just kind of verbally walking you through before I bring Martin up. Then we're going to vote on the endorsement committee recommendation, their recommended slate, recommendations in a slate. Then individually, for individual consideration, we will then vote on those candidates, an up or down vote individually. Then I will open the floor for endorsement motions. So I will walk everybody through each portion as we get there. I just want you to be able to see what's coming next. So what is coming next is to, again, the single jurisdiction LD forwarded, and then our endorsement committee's recommendations, individual consideration candidates that are pulled out of the slate, and then I will open the floor for endorsement motions. And before we begin, I will, before we get going, I'm going to ask the tally committee if they have a number for the Kate Martin Code of Conduct resolution.
Yes, we have 16 yes and 23 no, with 2 abstain.
Did you say that again? What was it?
16 yes votes, 23 no votes, and 2 abstain votes.
Great. So the motion does not pass. The motion, do I say it failed? Where's my parliamentarian?
That's correct.
Okay, I just want to make sure. So the motion does not pass. The motion has failed. Okay. Now I will bring up Martin Cheney, chair of our endorsement committee, to review his report of the committee.
There we go. Okay, now I'm unmuted. Okay, so there are 68 endorsement recommendations that the endorsement committee is bringing forward tonight. That represents the culmination of the 2023 endorsements committee work. And getting to this point included conducting a total of 129 interviews. But our work is not complete. We are currently tracking 571 candidates. We received 204 questionnaires. 9 candidates began but never completed the questionnaire. So we have an ongoing effort to determine the status and intent of those candidates. We've conducted a total of 129 interviews with a few more to go. So you will note in our report that there are 3 races that we flagged that we consider that our recommendations are not final. And so under our rules, any endorsement motion for any candidate in those races is not in order. We plan on bringing those races forward next month, and there may be some additional opportunities to bring races forward after the August election, because especially if any of our endorsed candidates do not advance to the general election. Note that our recommended candidates require a simple majority to vote tonight. All of those candidates received a 2/3 or better vote by the endorsement committee to recommend their endorsement. Our recommendations are actually divided into 2 slates. For single LD jurisdictions, we defer fully to the decisions of the legislative district. And so in those categories, we have the option tonight of pulling those candidates, but in no circumstance can we endorse any other candidate than the one recommended by the legislative district. I would like to just make a special note of the 7 special purpose district races. By special purpose, I mean something other than a city race or a school board race or a county race, where we have recommendations. These races are really key to our efforts to contest every race, and the committee was delighted to have so many special purpose district candidates come forward to engage with us and to begin their political journey. And I'd like to give a big thanks to Kat Pipkin, Beth Baisley, Andrea Ornelas, and Aaron Schrader for the huge amount of the work that they put into scheduling, tracking, and managing all the different processes that are involved in bringing our recommendations forward tonight. Aaron, in particular, worked tirelessly to implement a ranked choice polling process that we used to streamline our recommendation discussions. It allowed us to really focus our attention on the most critical races. And so just a big shout out for that. I think that as that technology evolves, that I hope that it gets used more for our committee work, and lots of other people use it as well. I have one race that I would like to note about our endorsement recommendations, and that is that there was one candidate that was inadvertently omitted from the recommendation slate that was published to you. That is Marley Larimer from the City of Kent, position 1. With hundreds of races, we made some technical errors last month that prevented us from bringing her recommendation forward. And then because of the way that technical errors cascade, we omitted her from our primary discussion. And when we realized that that had happened, we had an emergency vote by the committee so that she is supported. We have on record by more than 2/3 of the voting members of the committee. And so with with your indulgence and my apologies, I would appreciate it if she was added to our endorsement recommendation slate without objection. And if there are and I will be happy to take any questions. Seeing none, I think that we can move on to this. To the extent possible, I have tried to write up short statements in favor of any of the committee's recommended candidates that I was aware were being pulled for separate consideration. Of course, that list is growing longer as we speak. So I will do my best, because I do believe that this body deserves to know more about the candidates than simply that we worked long and hard to deliver these recommendations to you.
Thank you so much, Martin. On the and I'm going to ask, let's see. What we have, so let's see. Alexander, would you be able to share your screen of the single jurisdiction LD races?
Yeah, I can do that. 1 second.
Thank you. So I'm really excited now we get to go to the fun part. And what I just want a reminder that the candidates that we endorse tonight, if they make it through the primary, this is who we support all the way through the general election. And could I ask Melissa or Christina if you could put the link to the endorsement committee recommendation in chat? And this is a list of candidates that are eligible for endorsement by King County Democrats by virtue of having been endorsed by the single legislative district containing the jurisdiction. The motion on the floor is to adopt the recommended slate. Are there any objections to adopting the recommendation of the single LD jurisdiction? Let me see, sorry. Thank you for putting that in chat. And if you have your hand raised, I'm not sure I can see you. Let's see, Serafina Allen.
Thanks, Carrie. I just had a quick question in terms of the rules I had read, and I just saw this today, so apologies for the lateness. But if I am a staff member of one of the areas that's raised, can I excuse myself from that particular race?
Is it in the slate?
It is.
Martin, how do we typically handle? I apologize. I'm going to my endorsement chair.
Oh, no. Well, oh dear, these things are also so individual that it's hard to say. This is you work for.
I work for the city of Redmond, and there's 3 people that are in a race there. So if we're voting right now to endorse the whole slate, I'd like to do so, but without supporting the Redmond races if possible.
Okay, so our rules speak to circumstances when executive board members must recuse themselves. I think that if it's up to you and you would like to recuse yourself, I think you are certainly entitled to do that. And we don't have to delve into whether you are technically required to recuse yourself. And so as far as the slate goes, if those candidates are not pulled for separate consideration, the slate is adopted, I think, without objection. So if you would prefer that it be entered in the minutes that you are not voting for the slate, for those candidates on the slate, I think that would be acceptable.
That sounds sufficient. Yeah, thank you, Martin.
Thank you. Are there any other questions? And with that, we will move to vote. I see 2 hands raised, sorry. Is there one hand raised?
That's me. I have a point of information. Are we just voting on the single jurisdiction right now, or are we voting on the entire slate?
Just a single jurisdiction.
Thank
Just
you.
a single jurisdiction races. Thank you. And with that, we will use your reactions button. I'm going to call for a vote, and all those in favor on the reactions button, on the reactions tab, is a green check arrow. And please, as a credentialed KCD executive board member, please use that green check button. And all those in favor of endorsing this slate of candidates, please use the reaction button and hit the green yes. I'll give another minute. Please use the reactions tab and use the green check.
Carrie, I don't know if my reaction is working. I'm trying to do yes. I will text you. I don't know if it's working. I'm on my phone. Sorry.
Okay, let's see. It's working. I see it now.
Okay, thank you. Sorry about
No worries. Thank you, Tyler. Okay. I'm going to clear the screen. And all those who oppose the endorsement of the slate, please use the reactions tab and hit the red no button. In the reactions tab, please use the red no button. And Roger, I see a green yes button. Is that meant to be, I just want to clarify if it's an error, is that meant to be a red no?
No, I think I made a mistake. I sent a yes vote to the tally person, and I think I was supposed to do a green check.
Great. Okay. Last call, all those who oppose endorsing the slate, please use your red no button. Okay. The total is 41 in favor and 0 against. So by acclamation, the slate of recommended candidates has been endorsed. All those on this list have received the endorsement of the King County Democrats. Congratulations. And Alex, we can stop sharing. I'm going to go ahead and move to our next slate. And I see a hand raised. Let me go back. Tally, Yvette.
Yeah, hi, Carrie. Just an accessibility point here is whoever is screen sharing, can you ensure that the links that you also drop in the chat have the viewership updated? Because some folks are messaging me that they can't click on the link, or when it's on the screen share, they can't see the full list of people that are being screen shared. I'm not sure who the creator or owner of the Google Doc is, but just wanted to share that.
Yeah, that's a question for the endorsements team. Generally speaking, I'm not sure how they have been managing their permissions there. Kat, do you want that document to be you only, or do you want people to message you the email addresses to view it?
It can be publicly viewable.
Okay, I'll do that.
Thank you. Emily Lake.
Thank you, Madam Chair. My question is, I'm just not seeing King County Council District 2 on the list, and I was just wondering where that is.
You bet. So we endorsed King County Council District 2 in our May 23rd endorsement meeting.
Wonderful. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you. Are there any other questions before we move on to the next slate? Okay, I will see we have updated the list on this slate. We have candidates who have been pulled from the slate, and I will list them, and these will be for individual consideration. After I list these candidates, I will call for division. And can we pop in the link to our endorsement, the endorsement committee report? So the candidates who've been pulled off of this list are Valerie O'Halloran, and she has been pulled by Holly Hill. We have Joy Hollingsworth for District 3, pulled by Sophia Lee. We have Sarah Reinevelt for King County Council District 4, pulled by Sophia Lee. And we have Leslie Hamada, which is the Kent School Board. And I cannot see who has pulled Christiana De Leon.
Yeah, that was me.
Okay, thank you. So the motion is to endorse the slate minus these candidates who we will be voting on individually after we vote for the slate. And Alex, if you, can you share your screen so we can see those candidates?
Yeah, I apologize. I'm not going to be able to show the full slate at once, but I can also increase the zoom so if people are having a hard time reading.
Thank you. It's a big list. So the motion on the floor is to endorse the slate minus the candidates who have been pulled that we will endorse. And I will now call for division. And if you use your raised hand, this means that you are going to pull a candidate out of this endorsed list. And I will call you. It does not need a second.
I just had a quick question. Sorry. Is this the time if I wanted to add someone, or is it coming after?
That's a great question. And that is coming after. That is when I open the floor for endorsement motions.
Okay, thank you.
And Holly Hill, I see you have a question.
Is this where I asked for clarification, or is this a different time?
You can ask for clarification. Is it on a pulled candidate or is it on the slate?
It's the pulled candidate. Are we discussing that after or?
After, yeah, yeah.
Thank you.
So that's great. Okay. Are there any motions for division? Any motions? Hearing none, I will now call for a vote. And the motion on the floor is to adopt the recommended slate. And if you can go to your reactions tab and click on the green yes button to endorse this slate. Martin Cheney.
Oh, I had a quick question here because as I stated in my report, the committee wanted to add Mari Werner to the slate. Are we going to handle her separately or?
So she was added to the slate?
Oh, she is. I just didn't notice that in through it.
Right there.
Oh, she's there. Oh, awesome. Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
My bad for not seeing it.
So for folks, please use your reactions tab and click on the green yes. I'll give it one more minute. Thank you, folks. Okay, last call. Please go to the reactions tab and use your green yes button to endorse the slate. Okay, I'm going to clear all feedback. All green buttons. All those opposed to the endorsement of the slate, please use your reactions tab and click on the red no button. And I have one green yes. Chris Roberts, is that meant to be a red no? I'm just going to clarify. Thank you. Is that is a yes to endorse the slate? The motion on the vote is a red no. If you oppose the endorsement. Oh, thank you, Chris. Okay. Okay, last call. All those who oppose endorsement of this slate, please use your red no button. And by 46-0, congratulations. By acclamation, this slate of recommended candidates has been endorsed. All those candidates on this list have received the endorsement of the King County Democrats. Congratulations. And Alex, you can stop sharing. Thank you. In the order received, we will now vote. Sorry, our consideration will be the candidates who have been pulled out of the recommended slate. Melissa Taylor, you have a question.
There was one other person who wanted clarification at this point, and then also I think it would be helpful to do clarification about how speaking for these 4 races will work.
Absolutely. So who had a question for clarification? I will open it for questions before we start voting. So what we are going to do is we are going to vote on the candidates in the order that they were pulled from the slate. And what we'll do is we'll move to candidates who are pulled, and we will just be voting on them separately, much like we have. So you will find your tally member, and you will then direct message them your vote. And going in order, I will call, and who pulled them will get the option for 4. So we will have for up to 2 minutes, 2 speakers for and 2 minutes against. Are there any questions? Melissa.
If a candidate wishes to speak, can they speak on their behalf?
So I was talking to James about this today. So candidates can speak if those who are speaking, if they cede their time to that candidate.
Thank you.
Tim Burns.
Yes, Madam Chair, the motion on the floor is to endorse each of these candidates. So there doesn't need to be a separate motion for each one. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Thank you.
And it's a simple majority vote. Thank you. Khalid.
Thank you, Madam Chair. If we're making a motion for no endorsement, is there an expectation that a statement should be made?
So,
like a statement in favor of no endorsement, or do we just make the motion? I guess this is maybe a parliamentary question. I'm not sure.
James.
Yeah, so the motions on the floor now are to endorse these candidates, and you can effectively vote not to endorse by simply voting not to endorse. There will be an opportunity after after this motion is concluded to nominate new candidates for endorsement or to raise other motions. But we currently have the motion on the floor to consider endorsement of these 4 candidates.
Got it. Okay, I guess just to be clear, the part that's confusing in the endorsement committee report, it says that in races where we have chosen to defer finalizing recommendations, no endorsement motions are in order. So is that consistent with what you're saying, to be clear?
That's correct. And new motions will not be in order until after we've concluded the endorsement committee's report.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you. Carol,
Yes, could you repeat who the 4 candidates are that we are voting on?
yes, we are going to start by endorsing voting on the recommendation of Valerie O'Halloran, then Joy Hollingsworth, District 3, Sarah Reinevelt, King County Council, District 4, and Leslie Hamada, Kent School Board Director. Thank you. And on the floor is the motion to endorse Valerie O'Halloran. And she has been pulled by Holly Hill. And Holly, would you like to speak to your motion? I mean, to your to your pulling her out of the slate.
Yes, thank you. I'd like to echo what Chair Barnes said about to thank the endorsement committee for all the hard work. I know this is really difficult. I pulled Valerie O'Halloran for clarification as to why she was recommended for endorsement. Here's a paraphrase in our email from Carrie about basically saying in a single LD jurisdiction, we cannot endorse a different candidate than the LD has endorsed. However, we are able to issue no endorsement in these races. Now, I understand this is multi-jurisdictional, but that kind of implies that one or at least one of the jurisdictions would have endorsed this candidate. I reviewed the 5th and the 37th endorsement list for 2023, and Valerie does not appear on those lists. And in fact, a different candidate was endorsed by the 11th, which would be Erica Conway. Excuse me, Erica Conway. So I am questioning why Valerie O'Halloran was.
That would be time. Are we timing right now? I'm sorry. Are we timing?
Yes, up to 2 minutes, correct.
Oh, 2 minutes. I'm sorry. You have another minute. My bad.
Okay, I was just a clarification as to why Valerie was recommended for endorsement when none of the LDs have endorsed her, and a different candidate was actually endorsed by one of the LDs.
Thank you. Martin Cheney.
Sure, I would be happy to make a statement for the this endorsement, but I would like to preface that by saying that this is entirely consistent with our rules. The inference that an LD must endorse is simply not the way those rules read, and it has never been applied, and there are lots of other races where that's been applied. So we felt that Valerie really stood out in her knowledge of housing policy and her commitment to increase affordable housing while protecting the environment. She has a track record of improving policing through early adoption of body cameras, support for community policing, and alternatives to traditional policing. She's an advocate for gun safety. She expressed pride in her role in developing Renton's business plan and its inclusion of an equity lens for reviewing every policy, project, and program.
Thank you, Martin. Do we have a speaker against? Do we have a speaker against? Jesse Weber.
I'm sorry, I'm not speaking against. I just don't understand why there's a 32 in front of my name. I'm with the 5th LD, and I don't know if that makes a difference, but I thought I'd bring it up.
Thank you. Jesse Weber, I still see your hand raised. I see a 5th LD. Thank you so much. Do we have a speaker against? We've had a speaker for and a speaker against. We will now move this to vote. If you could find your tally committee member. And the motion on the floor is to endorse Valerie O'Halloran. Melissa Taylor.
For these motions that came from the committee, they need a 50% majority to move forward, correct?
Correct.
Thank you.
And Tally, let me know when and I see 2 green checks. And we are direct messaging our tally committee. Bunny Hatcher.
Yeah, I just wanted to clarify something that I believe was Khalid might have asked earlier, where he said, note in races where we have chosen to defer finalizing recommendation, no endorsement motions are in order. It doesn't mean it's in order to make a no endorsement motion. It simply means that at this point, no motions about an endorsement are in order. Not that you can make a no endorsement motion, but no motions at all, or against, or I'm not sure that that people understand what I'm talking about. Martin, help me out here.
Sure, with the indulgence of the chair, maybe I can try to explain. There are 3 races where the committee is still intending to interview candidates in those races. And our rules provide that when the committee says that they have not finalized their recommendation in that race, that no endorsement motion, that is, that it is out of order to make an endorsement motion for any of the candidates in those races. So that only applies to 3 very specific races. And if somebody was bound and determined to make an endorsement motion in one of those 3 races tonight, it would require suspending the relevant portions of the rules. And I would be personally offended because the committee really wants to finish their work on those races, and we do not see any urgency in those races.
Thank you. I understand now. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Martin. And Tally, do we have a total?
Not quite yet. Just one second.
Can I ask, are we supposed to be direct messaging the same people again?
Yes, Judy. Yes.
Okay, because I simply put a check next to my name and
Could
I
we-
shouldn't do that. Can the person who's I'm supposed to be sending the vote to contact me?
Yes. Tara, do you
Yes.
mind contacting Judy?
Madam Chair, Tim Burns,
Got it.
30th. I'm having trouble finding my tally committee also.
Tim,
I
let
can
me-
message Tim.
thank you. So your tally person is Christina Beverlin, and she's going to direct message you so you can get that right back to her.
Last time.
Thank you.
Thank you. Sophia Lee, you have a question?
Yes, I just wanted to point out that for the 7th, Rita Miller does have a green check mark on her name. So I don't know if that means she's having issues or not. So we may want to address that.
Oh, thank you. I can't see. Rita Miller. your tally person is Yvette.
Yeah, this is Yvette. I'm your tally person. I just sent you a message to get your vote, so you could just respond back to my message.
This is Joe Goheen from the first district. I'm also having a problem finding the person that I'm supposed to send my vote to.
And in the first LD, yours is Hannah Floss.
And I don't see her on my chat screen here. So
Why
I'm
are
not
we
sure
doing
how
it this
to
way
do-
instead of just putting check marks next to our names?
Kelly KCD is where Hannah is.
Melissa Taylor. I think I missed a question. Melissa?
Oh, the question was asked why we would do this version versus doing check marks. Do you want me to provide some history around that?
That would be great. Thanks, Melissa.
So the reason that we do it this way for endorsements is that people have asked for a way that it is private, and that there are some conflicts, as somebody mentioned earlier, sometimes where people are able to vote, but only if that is not a public thing because of their status in terms of employment with a governmental organization. So we have implemented this as long as we've been on Zoom. I think we've been doing it this way. So we try to do it the faster way when we can, but for endorsements specifically, for a variety of reasons, we do it this way.
Okay, and Melissa, you're the one I'm supposed to be direct messaging, right? This is Judy Gibbs.
No, I think you are supposed to. Which LD are you in, Judy?
36.
36 is.
It's me, and I have chatted directly to Judy.
Okay.
Now, who is that speaking?
It's Tara Gallagher. I should be in your chat asking for your vote.
Okay. Thank you. I'll look in my.
Thank you.
I'm looking right now. Oh, Tara Gallagher, there you are. Thank you.
And thank you all for your patience.
And thank you for the help. Sorry, I wasn't expecting to vote tonight, as you know.
Thank you. I've been in these meetings. It's I just appreciate everyone's patience. It's part of the work, and spending your evening with us is a treat. And so, Tally, whenever you guys are ready.
I think we're likely ready now. We have 33 yes votes, 2 no votes, and 2 abstain votes.
Okay. The recommendation passes. Valerie O'Halloran is endorsed by the King County Democrats. Thank you all. I'm going to our next candidate in order, who has been pulled from the slate for consideration, and we have Joy Hollingsworth, Seattle City Council District 3. And I'm going to start with Martin to speak in favor, and then we will have a speaker against, a speaker for, and a speaker against, each up to 2 minutes.
Wow, I did not write these out for a whole 2 minutes. My apologies.
Oh, no need. It's up to.
So in a field of really great candidates, Joy Hollingsworth was a standout. A third-generation Seattleite, Joy understands the need for making land use changes to increase low and middle housing, while also understanding that zoning changes alone are not enough. It needs to be coupled with outreach to community groups and needs to be done in a way that protects and enhances all neighborhoods, not just some. She displayed a real depth of knowledge on the issue of traffic safety in Seattle with proposals for many effective possible programs. She advocated for pedestrianization of Pike Place Market and other areas while displaying a knowledge of the complexity of addressing and implementing solutions.
Thank you, Martin. And Joy Hollingsworth was pulled by Sophia Lee. And Sophia Lee, would you like up to 2 minutes to speak against the endorsement of Joy Hollingsworth?
Yes, thank you. I am speaking to push for a no endorsement on Seattle City Council District 3 because that is unequivocally the wishes of the people of the district. It is standard procedure that the King County Endorsement Committee that if a race is completely within one legislative district, that the committee follows the endorsement results of that legislative district, and Seattle City Council 3 is almost fully contained within the legislative district of the 43rd, and the 43rd has voted no endorsement in this race. The 37th LD, which does have a small part of Seattle City Council D3, did endorse Joy Hollingsworth, but it was only the 8th round that she had enough votes to pass the threshold for that endorsement. That means they went through that many rounds, one by one, removing people until Joy was able to collect enough 4th place, 6th place, 7th choice votes to meet that threshold. This is a very weak endorsement from the 37th, which contains a very small minority of the district. Not only that, due to a very super tight schedule within the endorsement committee, this race was discussed on Pride weekend, and a good number of voices of the LGBTQIA members of the community were reduced, and that includes mine. The LGBTQIA people who have a huge presence in District 3. Yes, there are many excellent candidates that are in this race, but none of them have met the threshold for a endorsement in the 43rd. So I am now coming to you to please ask you to take strong consideration of the wishes of the people in D3 and vote against endorsing anyone in this race. Thank you.
Thank you, Sophia. Do we have a speaker for the recommendation to endorse Joy Hollingsworth? Do we have a speaker for Joy Hollingsworth, Seattle City Council District 3? Mary Scanlon, you have up to 2 minutes.
Thank you. I'm not going to use that whole time. I just wanted to say that I don't, Sophia, you know I love you, but I don't really think that's an accurate representation of how the ranked choice voting that we used for this endorsement progressed. It was much more nuanced than that. And so I wouldn't necessarily say that it was a weak endorsement.
So that is a comment. Are you speaking in favor of Joy's endorsement?
Under the circumstances, I will say yes.
Is there a speaker against the endorsement of Joy Hollingsworth? Justin Peterson.
Thank you. So as a KCD alt and a member of the 43rd Executive Board and a D3 resident, I am aware of how our organization voted and what the people of my district want out of a candidate. Alex Hudson received a higher vote count at the 43rd endorsement meeting than Joy Hollingsworth during both the initial and during reconsideration. Andrea Shofu Ephraim Hudnall and Rye Armstrong together received more votes than either Alex Hudson or Joy Hollingsworth. This race was discussed on the busiest day of Pride weekend, making Sophia, myself, and others on the committee from the LGBTQIA+ community unable to be present and speak. I'm asking everyone here tonight to support a no endorsement position today out of respect for the D3 and 43rd communities who are strongly supporting candidates other than committee selection. Thank you.
Thank you. We've had 2 speakers for, and we've had 2 speakers against. We will now move to vote on the endorsement of Joy Hollingsworth. Please find your tally person, the exact same person you had last time, in your chat. And Judy, let us know if you need help. And we will now vote. Thank you. And Tally, when you're ready.
I think at least 2 more minutes just to give everybody time.
Great, thank you. I should have some music. It's waiting for Tally, or my dog, something fun.
How about that Trump tape?
Mm. Yeah,
I will say that I'm really good at just singing the Jeopardy music over and over and over again.
Yeah,
I don't know anyone wants to hear that, but
I'm making a
it works
motion.
really well.
Yeah, I might make a motion from the chair that that might get stuck in my head.
It's great elevator music, that's for sure.
I think we were all I can't remember what we were singing. I'm going to save the break till our next one. And do we
We
have
have a total of 31 votes in. The first vote we took tonight had 39 people voting. Do we want to wait for a couple more people to vote, or would you like to move forward?
Let's give it one more minute. If you haven't got your vote in, please do. And maybe we have some folks not voting.
Is there a method for abstention?
Yes, absolutely.
To direct message or tally with a yes, a no, or an abstain.
And it looks like we're holding steady at 31 votes in.
Okay.
We have 11 votes for yes, 20 for no, and 5 abstentions. 32 votes just came in.
Okay. What was that total? It was 11.
It's now 12 yes, 20 no, and 5 abstention.
Okay. So the recommendation to endorse does not pass for Joy Hollingsworth. We are moving to our next candidate who has been pulled from the recommendation slate, and that is Sarah Reinevelt, King County Council District 4. And we will go to Martin first, and then we will go to Sophia Lee, who had pulled Sarah Reinevelt from the endorsement slate. So Martin.
Sorry, before we do so, I'd like to state that I am not going to be speaking for or against this. I was doing so just because I was asked by Taylor Crone, who wanted to speak in regards to it in more detail. So that's why I did so, and she will be speaking. Thank you.
Fabulous, thank you. Martin?
Okay, with a long history of activism and leadership in the Democratic Party, Sarah is endorsed by her home 36th LD as well as the 32nd and 46th. A public sector lawyer and union member, she would be a strong voice for working families, affordable housing, and addressing climate change. As a transit writer, she clearly understands our need in that regard and will work to improve public transit infrastructure. To address public safety, she believes that we need to reimagine our legal and criminal justice system. Sarah will be an effective leader for progressive change in King County.
Thank you. And do we have a speaker against? You can use your raised hand. Khalid, I see your hand raised. Are you speaking against?
Oh, excuse me. Yes, I am.
Okay, go ahead.
Hi. So yeah, we have 3 strong candidates in this race. At a high level, our King County Council is not representative of our county's population, nor are our county councils and commissions representative of our state's diversity. Taken as a whole, county councils or commissions across our state are 97.8% white. And to that end, one of the strong candidates in the D4 King County Council race is a person of color who has a long and distinguished track record of working on behalf of marginalized communities, who's a top fundraiser in the race despite entering the race during filing week, and was recently endorsed by the Seattle Times. It would seem somewhat inconsistent with our equity principles for the KC Dems to put their endorsement on behalf of another candidate, given these circumstances. Thank you.
Thank you. And Shep, are you speaking for?
Yeah, I'm speaking for. I cede my time to Sarah Reinevelt.
Thank you.
Hello, King County Democrats. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, great. My name is Sarah Reineveld. I'm a public sector attorney, public school parent, transit writer, union organizer, and community advocate. It is great to be back here with the King County Democrats. Like you, I have spent countless hours as a Democratic Party activist, former chair of the 36, and former representative to the King County Dems. I have dedicated my 15-year public service career to advancing our progressive values. As an attorney in the Attorney General's office for over 10 years, I have stood up to powerful interests, holding environmental violators accountable and fighting for wages and protections for workers. As a member of the King County Women's Advisory Board since 2016, I have worked with communities and the King County Council to help secure investments in behavioral health, childcare, affordable housing, and services for survivors of gender-based violence. I want to continue my track record of working as a Democratic Party activist to drive progressive solutions on the King County Council. I am running because we need bold and transformative action to urgently address the scale of the challenges that are facing our county. The status quo isn't good enough. King County can and must do more to meet the behavioral health needs of our neighbors in crisis, to create more truly affordable housing, to boost public transit service, tackle the climate crisis, reimagine and end racial disparities in our criminal legal system. I'm proud to be endorsed by AG Bob Ferguson, Hillary Franz, council members such as Zahalai, Colwells, and Dembowski, port commissioners such as Mohammed and Cho. MLK Labor gave me their sole endorsement. All the Democratic LDs that have endorsed in this race so far, the 36th, the 46th, and the 32nd. I came very close to getting the 43rd, the Transit Writers Union Washington Conservation Action. And it would mean so much to me to earn the endorsement of the King County Dems as a former representative of this body. Thank you.
Thank you. Do we have a speaker against? Carmen Rivera.
Yeah, I'm gonna need to have someone else time, or I can time on my own, and I'll just try to keep track best I can. Everyone's been doing a really good job at staying under 2 minutes, though. So kudos to everybody. So what I'm gonna start the timer. I'm speaking against for similar reasons as the first speaker, because there is another candidate in this race who I think it should be considered for the endorsement. But I'm also going to speak to the fact that I have experienced a lot of difficulty being a elected person when I went through the campaign process. And for myself, one of the biggest things I want to try to leave with, if I choose to run again in 2 years, is really ridding us from a toxic environment when it comes to how we treat opponents, especially other Democratic opponents, and how we even work with one another. I am so fed up with the rumors, the whisper campaigns, the lies, the backstabbing. We don't talk to each other anymore. We talk about each other. We make outlandish comments, and I am 34 years old, and I have just seen politics get more and more and more divisive. And it really hurts, especially when I see women going against each other. And as you know, I've witnessed in previous campaigns and was informed by community members from previous campaigns that Sarah did not act in a behavior that I would find reflective of the Democratic Party. And I think it's important that, again, we do not attack fellow Democrats. We do not sink down to right-wing levels by name calling and by using egregious words like terrorists. Those things scare me because I've been called a terrorist. And the thing, we're standing up for trans women. And when we use that language so freely, it normalizes it. I really want us to get to a point where we can all work more effectively together. Because I'm saying as someone who works in a political office right now, it's better to work effectively together than to just affiliate with only people who think the exact same way as you. I have a better relationship with some of my more moderate council members who actually have my back and work effectively with me than some of the progressives who claim to be progressive. Time.
Thank you, Carmen. We've had 2 speakers for and 2 against. We will now move to the vote. Please find your tally member and direct message them your vote. The motion on the floor is the endorsement for Sarah Reineveld. And abstain is also an option. And Rita, I see a green check. Is that meant to go to your endorsement person?
Who is it supposed to go to? Oh, I'm sorry. I got it. Never mind.
Thank you. Please get those votes in.
Do we have until 8:25? 3 more minutes, please.
3 more minutes, folks.
Thank you.
And if you need to grab a quick glass of water, Melissa Taylor.
Oh, I was just going to suggest that you might want to talk about the August event.
I can do that. How about I will do that after our next vote. But I did say if you want to grab a quick glass of water, you can have 3 minutes and then come right back.
I have a timer on. Go, 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 go.
Thank you. I can talk about the August event several times. So August 20th, for this executive board, I'm going to say, I will see you August 20th at our fundraiser. So this is our annual fundraiser. We are going to have candidates, electeds, hot dogs, some music, and it's a really great time for community. So I would say as a county event, this is the one you really want to come to. So it's you can in person, outdoor, a little bit indoor. And as you see us post on social media, as you get my emails, please RSVP, please come. It's a lot of fun. There is one bulldog that runs around and she's amazing, super fun. We'll shake you down for a few chips and possibly whatever else you have around. And last year it was really great. So I look forward to seeing all of you who can make it, which means all of you, right? It'd be a lot of fun.
Ms. Blonde, the minute you mentioned food, you had me in. So
There you go. Yeah, we're keeping a classic barbecue for the summer. It's our annual fundraiser, summer party. Thank you again, everyone.
And if we feel we have enough time, we do have 33 votes in. We have 21 yes votes, 12 no votes, and 8 abstain votes, which gives the percent in favor at 63.6%.
So the recommendation passes. Thank you. We are moving on to our final candidate who has been recommended and pulled from the recommendation slate, and that is Leslie Hamada, Kent School Board. And I will let Martin speak, and then I will open the floor first to Christiana De Leon, who had pulled this candidate out of the recommendation slate. Martin?
Okay, so based on our interview and her completed questionnaire, we found Leslie to be knowledgeable about the impact of the pandemic on students and especially disadvantaged students. She exhibited strong commitment to assistance for needy students in a manner which does not call them out or stigmatize them. And she showed a clear commitment to fighting book bans and efforts to block CRT teaching.
Thank you. And I will now open the floor for those who wish to speak against this nomination.
I'm happy to speak against.
And who is that? Sorry, I don't see a hand
Oh,
raised.
sorry, this is Christiana who pulled it.
Okay, Christiana, 2 minutes. Thank you.
All right, thank you. So I am thanking first the endorsement committee and for their incredible work they put in. I know it's a lot. Leslie Hamada does have challengers who appear to share our values, but my question here is more about whether or not this director should continue to say on paper that she shares our values when her choices at the dais suggest otherwise. Also, she has had a resounding unanimous no vote by the King County Young Democrats when her endorsement was considered. First, we're a Kent School District household. I've been to numerous KSD meetings over the years, including last calendar year. In that time, I watched as the unions gave the board, over which she presided, a vote of no confidence because of the drawn-out strike and lack of meaningful engagement from the board and KSD leadership. It was a strike that could have been avoided, especially its length, due to the KSD not bargaining in good faith, and the board president needs to share some accountability. We need to show that we stand up for an already beleaguered school employees, and a vote to endorse someone with a vote of no confidence by a union is to essentially cross the picket line. I witnessed when she called for civility after a colleague equated kids living in apartments to crime or criminals, and teachers yelled about how cruel that was. But she said nothing when an LGBTQ plus staff member was called a slur during a newsmaking vote to ban that LGBTQ plus book, where she was actually more reluctantly and barely voted not to ban it. She was not leading on that. By the way, and for context, this meeting included a vote to allow the Kent Police Department back into Kent schools to continue their SRO contracts, despite there was no accountability after the infamous Camrosel incident with Nazi insignia included. She also stood by when that same school board member later went on to use racist language towards an already marginalized community months later. Ultimately, when I and others questioned these actions that don't fit the time limit for this, her reaction was not to consider this as a learning opportunity, which to me shows how one models leadership in a school setting, but instead doubled down to go after those who question those concerns. We can't stand for this kind of fragility and at best performative allyship in the seventh most ethnically diverse city in the nation. We need to pass the torch to new leadership if the KSD students, staff, and families are going to have a better fighting chance of representation.
Thank you, Christiana.
Thank you.
Do we have a speaker for Laura Williams?
Hi, so nice to see everybody. Leslie Hamada represents my district. I live in the Kent School District and I've known Leslie for a long time. I'm a terrible speaker, so I'm going to read the speech that I wrote because I was ready for this tonight. Leslie Hamada is a former state committee woman from the 47th and a longtime active member. She has won multiple awards from the City of Kent and the PTSA honoring her public service. The candidates running against her include people who support LGBTQ book bans, among other troubling conservative causes. The person who pulled Leslie from the endorsement list is currently under investigation by the Code of Conduct Committee for repeated harassment of this candidate. Please join.
Out of order.
Please join the Democrats in the Kent School District who support the only Democrat in this race. And I just want to also add, Leslie is really, really helpful with we've been working on helping a young woman of 2 find housing, and she's been just really lovely, pulling resources and working with us to help her. And so she's always been really kind to us and a great advocate for our school, for our kids and our schools in this district. Thank you.
I wanted to remind everybody we are speaking to the motion, not to the person. So we are speaking to the motion, which is the endorsement recommendation of Leslie Hamada, to keep it to Leslie in context, not to speakers. Do we have a speaker, another speaker against, another speaker, where are we, against? Do we have a speaker against this recommendation? Seeing none, we will now move to vote. Please find your tally member and direct message them your vote. Yes, no, or abstain. Pipkin, do you have a question?
I do. Is the motion before the body right now to whether to endorse or not, or is it to defer consideration until the last committee member or the last candidate was interviewed. I thought I saw that on the poll sheet.
No, this one, the motion on the floor is the recommendation to endorse Leslie Hamada.
Thank you.
Thank you. Get those votes in. And let me see, Joseph. Goheen.
Yes,
I'm going to have you direct message your representative, who is Hannah Floss.
I thought I just did that. Did I?
You just actually you're
Oh,
messaging me, so that's
Going
okay.
to you.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm not the best with the computer. I'm trying to figure out which button to click here to get my. I clicked on the HF and that isn't doing anything.
Let's see, Hannah, would you be able to reach out to
Joe.
in the first LD?
Sure, yeah, I will.
Thank you so much. It just makes it easier. Then you can direct message Hannah right back.
Okay, thank you.
It gets hard. I do that myself. It's hard to see. So thank you.
Okay. There we are. Okay. Let's see. Your vote. I'm not sure I'm getting it in the right spot. I'm sorry. I see your vote, but when I click, it's not doing anything. Oh, maybe I click on it.
Thank you, everyone, for your patience, for your participation. And we'll give it another 3 minutes. Tally, do we need more time?
Yes, we only have 23 votes in right now.
Okay, we will leave it open for a couple more minutes. So thank you, everyone. Please get your votes in. And again, we have ballots. I just want to remind everyone, ballots for the primary will be out just in a couple weeks. July 12th, they will be mailed out. Although the voter pamphlets are online right now, those will be coming. So, and I'm also going to put a plug in. There's also, King County Elections has a subscriber button. So, and I'm going to try and find it if I can real fast. And what you do is you are able to put in your address, who you are, your address, and then on that primary ballot, it is only the races that pertain to you, which is super helpful because the voters pamphlet's very big and there are lots of candidates. It shrinks it down to exactly who you vote for. And I don't think it gives alerts. I signed my son up because he needs reminders, but it's a great tool. and I will find it and stick it in there. For all of you in the endorsement world, there was a bill passed last session, and it now moves filing week from the 2 Sundays above Memorial Day to the first week in May. So what that means is for candidates looking for endorsements, it just gives more time. It's not such a tight turn for all the legislative districts, all the organizations to make it in the voters pamphlet by that last Friday, which is an immovable date. So pretty exciting news. It will be in effect July 2023. So those in 24 and 25 and beyond will benefit, but it is giving more time.
And I think we do have a final count for the vote. We have,
sorry, oh, go ahead, Christina.
13 yes votes, 11 no votes, and 16 abstain votes. So the percent in favor is 54%.
So we need a simple majority. So the motion does carry. The endorsement recommendation for Leslie Hamada. So thank you, everyone. That is the end of our recommendations from our endorsement committee. Both slates and those individual candidates that were pulled from those slates. And this is the time of night where I would say, I will open the floor for endorsement motions. And my parliamentarian, I may be asking him quite a few questions. This is new, I shouldn't say new, I've done endorsement meetings before, but you can always learn. And so I'm going to ask for grace and patience as we work through each of your endorsement motions. And with that, I'm going to call on Jackie, Chair of the 33rd.
Thank you. I move that we suspend the endorsement rule for Section 1 to endorse Cindy Moore for Burien City Council Position 2.
Great. Is there a second?
This is Crystal Marks. I second.
Thank you. The motion on the floor is to suspend the rules, Rule 4, Section 1 for Cindy Moore. And Section 1, Rule 4, I'm grabbing the rule that we are suspending in this motion.
Point of order.
Yes, Melissa.
If I'm looking at it correctly, this section only applies to partisan offices, and there are no partisan offices on our ballots this year.
This is for partisan. I'm gonna reach out to Martin Cheney, Chair of the Endorsement Committee, if the rule, for clarity on the rule.
So I believe that the appropriate rule to be suspending would be Rule 4, Section 3, which reads, if the nonpartisan office sought is judicial, no attempt shall be made to ascertain party affiliation. And then the relevant section is, if the nonpartisan office sought is executive or legislative, a candidate must satisfactorily answer the question, are you a Democrat, in the affirmative? So we would be attempting to suspend the requirement that the are you a Democrat question must be answered in the affirmative.
Thank you for that clarity. And I may have given Jackie, anyways, the wrong section. So thank you. The motion on the floor is to suspend the rules. We will open it for debate. we will take 2 speakers for and 2 speakers against for 1 minute. And do we have a speaker for the motion to suspend the rules to endorse Cindy Moore? Jackie, I will let you speak to your motion.
Thank you. Cindy's been a longtime advocate for social justice issues, including housing for all, fair wages, LGBTQ+ rights, immigrant rights. And in her first term on the Burien City Council, she did so much to make substantial headway on minimum wage, sustaining and expanding policies that resulted in new affordable housing and also investments in the human services budget. She has been endorsed by our 33rd LD. However, she wasn't considered because of this requirement that she affirmed she was a Democrat. She's been an effective city council member. She recently demonstrated tremendous leadership on the housing first approach in support of people experiencing homelessness in Burien. And I believe that endorsing Sydney to help ensure her successful re-election will further our democratic values and ideals. And so I urge you to suspend the rules and vote to endorse Cindy Moore for Burien City Council position 2.
Thank you. Do we have a speaker against? Judy Gibbs, I see your hand raised.
Yes, I just want to know if she's willing to say that she's a Democrat. I hear everything about the fact that she's a social justice person. I like that. Do we have a requirement that for endorsement that she acknowledged being a Democrat?
So to my understanding, she is an independent progressive. And the explanation when asked is, just for clarity on the question, is that she feels folks that vote for her may, they would never vote Democrat. They maybe wouldn't even vote, but because of her work in the community, they support her in her progressive work that she does in Burien. Carrying a label would isolate some folks who have voted for her and for the initiatives that she supports.
Okay, I'm willing to accept that. But thank you. I think we needed that explanation.
Right.
I've certainly heard comments of that general nature in the past. So I would support her endorsement.
Thank you. Are there any other speakers in favor of suspending the rules to endorse Cindy Moore? Crystal Marks.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I'm Crystal. I am a former Burien City Council member and deputy mayor and current city council candidate. Sydney is needed on the city council if we want to return a progressive majority. Right now, it's 3 council members that are trying incredibly hard to get things done, to take care of people. And Sydney is one of them. Losing her on the council will be detrimental for the next 4 years. Regardless of whether you agree with her methods, Sydney cares and she loves and she meets with people. She displays every democratic value I can think of, despite being unwilling to have that as a label. She's been supported by Democratic organizations in the past. She's been endorsed by Democrats, and I feel like she needs our support. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Chris Roberts, are you speaking against the motion?
Yes, I am.
Go ahead.
Thank you. We are a democratic organization, and first and foremost, we must be, as much as I like Councilmember Moore and will support her election, in this body, in this room, we need to support Democrats. We have made this decision time and time again against candidates who also support our values, but do not identify as a Democrat. We've given this candidate multiple opportunities to claim that and to identify with the party, and she still chooses not to identify with the party. I agree with everything that Crystal says about the importance of maintaining a progressive majority on the Burien Council, but at the end of the day, our rules say that we support Democrats, and I think we need to hold to that. Thank you.
Thank you. We've had 2 statements in favor and 2 against. We will now move this to vote. If you could find your tally member, Melissa Taylor.
Clarification, this is whether or not to suspend the rules, and then there will be another vote on whether to endorse her, correct?
Correct. Chair Gallagher.
This requires a 2/3 vote or majority?
I apologize. This, I'm going to ask my parliamentarian. I believe it's a 2/3 vote.
That's correct.
2/3 vote. And find your same tally person that you've been communicating with. And if you need any help, we're here for you.
I'm sorry, but I'm having trouble again getting my vote to. Yeah.
Is that, Joe, is that to Tara?
Pardon?
Is that to Tara?
Hi, Steve, did you find what you
Oh,
needed?
I'm
How much was it?
Oh, not too bad. I'm supposed to message Anna Floss, I think.
Oh,
and
I'm sorry. I got that wrong.
I'm having a hard time figuring out how to do that.
You can, if you prefer, you can find me.
Yes, that I can do.
Great.
Okay. Oh, wait, oh, hang on.
David Combs, I see your hand raised.
Yes, I was just wondering, could you reread the question we're voting on?
Yes. So the motion on the floor is to suspend the rules, which states, are you a Democrat in the affirmative for the endorsement of Burien City Council member Cindy Moore? And we'll give it another minute. You can get your votes in.
Okay, and we have 39 votes cast. That is 29 yes votes and 10 no votes.
Wonderful. The motion carries. I will entertain a motion to endorse Cindy Moore. Jackie.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I move to endorse Sydney Moore for Burien City Council position 2.
Second.
It has been moved and seconded. We will now open the floor for debate for Cindy Moore for Burien City Council. Jackie, I will let you speak to your motion.
Okay, I have a sister who is a city council member in Marlborough, Massachusetts. She runs in a nonpartisan race and has never declared her party. I do know that our rules are slightly confusing because one rule says that you don't need to declare your party membership in a nonpartisan race. And yet here we are trying to decide whether we can endorse somebody who refuses to say that she is or isn't a Democrat. So we've also agreed, or several of us also agreed, that it's very, very important that the city of Burien really needs Sydney Moore to be reelected as a city council member. So I just think that we need to go ahead and do this. We've already agreed that our rules can be suspended. She's been such an important part of dealing with the homelessness crisis that's been happening in the city of Burien. She is currently doing everything she can to help try alleviate the situation for those who are being swept off the homelessness camps. And we just need her there for the everything that she's going to do to help those people. And I just urge everyone to go ahead and vote to endorse Sydney Moore for that position. Thank you.
Thank you. Do we have any speakers against the motion to endorse Cindy Moore? Do we have any speakers against? Any speakers against? Hearing none, I'm going to ask my parliamentarian, is this a vote or is this by acclamation for an endorsement?
You can call for a vote by acclamation if you wish.
Thank you. If you can go to your reactions tab and click on the green yes button. To support the motion to endorse Cindy Moore in Burien. Thank you. Thank you very much. I'm gonna, last call, get your vote in, please. Then I'm gonna lower hands. And this is use your green button. Carol, for a yes. I see one red. Okay, thank you. I'm gonna lower. I'm gonna clear all feedback. All those in opposition to the endorsement of Cindy Moore for Burien, please use your reactions tab, the red no button. I'll give it another minute. Thank you. The motion to endorse Cindy Moore carries 33-4. Thank you very much. I will open the floor for other endorsement motions. Raven Tyler.
Good evening, everyone. I may say this super wrong because I'm terrible at Robert's rules and motions and stuff, so bear with me. I would like to put forth a motion to endorse Kathy Moore in the Seattle City Council District 5 race. It would be a dual endorsement with Nilu. They both were dual endorsed by the 32nd, and 36 decided to stay out of the race.
Is the motion you are putting forward is nominating Cindy Moore.
Kathy Moore, the other Moore, the Moore that we
I'm
decided.
so sorry. It will happen. For the District 5 race, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
And I just want to make sure from my endorsement chair, is Kathy eligible for nomination for endorsement?
Yes, she is.
Thank you. From my understanding, she will need a supermajority vote. So I just want to clarify that with Martin real quick. And the motion on the floor is to endorse Kathy Moore. Is there a second? And I just got a second from Chair Chris Roberts of the 32nd. So it has been moved and seconded. And with this, it will need a supermajority. And then Martin, at that point, it is a dual endorsement.
If that passes, that would be a dual endorsement.
Thank you. For clarity, the motion on the table is to also endorse Kathy Moore, District 5, Seattle City Council. And I will open the floor to Raven to speak in favor of her motion.
And really quickly before the time starts, I know Carmen's on it today. If I speak and then I want to see the rest of my time, I could do that, correct?
Correct.
Okay, perfect. All right, Carmen, you can go ahead and start the clock. Just really quickly, Kathy Moore is running for Seattle City Council District 5. She was dual endorsed by the 32nd along with Nilu, and the 36th decided to stay out of their race. I believe that, if we're going by what the LDs are doing, we should follow suit, and she should be considered for dual endorsement. And then I see the rest of my time to Kathy, if she's still on the line.
I'm still here. Thank you so much, Raven. Thank you, everyone. So I would be honored to receive a dual endorsement tonight. I was recommended for a sole endorsement in the 32nd by the endorsement committee, and the dual was from the floor. I am started my career as a public defender because I wanted to uphold the rights of the vulnerable and the powerless. And I have continued to do that throughout my career. As chair of the Seattle Human Rights Commission, I oversaw police accountability and worked on trying to hold the police accountable. As a judge, I was very instrumental in working on bail reform, legal financial obligation reform, jury diversity, and implicit bias. I am committed to equity and racial justice, and I will carry that message forward on the council as well as police accountability. I also believe that we need to have upscale massively our substance abuse treatment programs and our behavioral health programs, and we have tremendous need in District 5. We are going to have 5 new council members at a minimum. We need to have people who have committed their life to public service and know how to get things done. Additionally, I have been a member of a union. As a public defender, I also was the only judge to support a unionization effort by King County Superior Court staff, and I received a lot of personal grief for my position. Additionally, I have 3 children who all graduated from Seattle Public School. I am a strong proponent of public schools. I do not support charter schools. And I believe democratic education, public education is a core value of our democratic society. I am also very committed to working on gun violence and working with the community to find ways that we
That
can.
would be time.
Thank you. Thank you. I hope
you. And Melissa, I see your hand raised. Are you speaking against?
Yes, I am.
Go ahead.
And then I also had a point of order. Raven, is your firm working for Kathy Moore as a candidate?
My firm is, but I am not. I don't work on her campaign at all.
Thank you. So hi, everybody. I'm Melissa Taylor from the 46, which has 76% of the voters in District 5. The 32nd has about 17 and the 36 has about 6. We voted to sole endorse Nilu Jenks with over 70% of the vote. Kathy wasn't even in the top 3 of our candidates. And so again, as we have repeatedly tonight looked at supporting where the majority of the voters in the district are supporting, I would really ask you to stick with a sole endorsement for Nilu Jenks tonight and vote no on this. Thank you.
Thank you. Do we have a speaker for the endorsement of Kathy Moore? David Combs.
I am raising my hand on behalf of Lisa Weber, who's on the phone. So if she can be put on.
And she's speaking in favor.
Yes.
Hi, this is Lisa. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can. Thank you.
Thanks. I've been driving this whole time, so I'm just listening. I'm not voting. I thank my LD for doing that. I'm speaking in favor of Kathy Moore. I have had the pleasure to not only meet her and go doorbelling with her, but I have sat in on endorsement meetings in other groups that I am part of, where she did get the endorsement. I think that she has the experience and the background to hit the ground running. I really believe that she understands the hard issues facing the city right now. And with her experience, and she could just sit back and do nothing. She has no need to run, but she really wants to go in there and help make sure that her experience as a lawyer and having worked with the city council on contract in the past, that they make sure they stay focused and that they actually work towards solutions. And I really believe that she's the woman to do this. She has not campaigned much as a judge. We all know that, how they campaign is different than others. But I really believe that when you are speaking with her in groups and one-on-one, the communication is fantastic and if a little nerdy. And I can see where that might not appeal to some groups. It really appealed to me because I base things on facts and actions. So I would, if I could, I would vote for her. And I think she would be a strong person to help lead the city of Seattle forward. Thank you.
Thank you. You have a speaker against. Hunter Brown.
Yeah, so I have to say there's a lot of great candidates in the District 5 race, but Nilu Jenks really did stand out. And just to reiterate, as far as making sure that we have good representation of our membership as a whole, the 46 did in fact choose to sole endorse in this race. And Nilu overwhelmingly won it. We're using a new ranked choice, or not ranked choice, but a version of approval voting. And Nilu completely ran away with it. And so I would just ask that we continue that message to our voters. Thank you.
Thank you. We've had 2 speakers for and 2 against. We will now move to the vote. Please find your tally members and direct message them your vote. And Joe, if you run into any issues, I can take your vote and get it to your tally committee person.
Thank you. I think I've finally figured out where to click. So I think I've got it worked out.
Good. I'm glad.
Thank you. Yeah. Yeah. Thanks a lot.
And Jesse Weber, I see you have a green check mark by your name. Okay. Thank you. Making sure if anyone has any questions or issues. And while we're waiting, Tally, do you need another 3 minutes?
Yes, please.
since we are getting towards our time, if anyone has good of the order, this would probably be a great time to share your good of the order if you want to use your raised hand. There's got to be some great stuff out there. Okay, we might have to get Kamal singing. And thank you everyone for hanging in here and being patient.
Carrie, I have my hand up.
Oh, do you? Oh, sorry, I can't see it.
No, I can't find it on my phone. Sorry. I
Okay.
just want to remind everybody that the Coast Salish Canoe Journey landing is July 30th on Alki Beach. And I will, when I find out exactly when that time is, which will be much closer to the date of the landing, I will let you all know. But if you can get to Alki in the afternoon, it's pretty spectacular. That is all.
Fabulous. Thank you, Lisa. Tim Burns.
Madam Chair, I just want to thank you for your appointment of Martin Cheney and Beth Paisley for leadership in the endorsement committee. They had big shoes to fill and they did it very well. I've been on the endorsement committee for several rounds and they performed very well. Thank you.
Thank you. And thank you, Martin.
You're welcome.
Justin Peterson.
Yes, Madam Chair, I just wanted to take my time to say thank you for running an effective meeting. This is my first time attending as an alternate, and I'm very impressed with how this meeting was ran today. So kudos to everyone involved. Thank you.
Oh, thank you so much. Appreciate you. Alex Erickson.
Yeah, I just wanted to let people know that now that we have our full slate of endorsements, myself, Carrie, and other people who are involved in making our field plan will be finalizing our primary election events and starting to work on our general election events. So please keep an eye out for those because we will want to work closely with members from across King County to advance the races that we think are most important and to make sure that primary voters know to turn out and know to vote for the Democratic endorsed candidates all around the county. So, yeah.
Thank you. Hallie, how are we looking?
I do have a total. We have 13 yes votes, 19 no votes, and 5 abstentions. So that's 40% in favor.
So the motion does not carry. We did not meet the 2/3 needed to pass the motion to endorse Kathy Moore. Kathy, thank you for being here.
Thank you very much. Have a good evening.
Have a great evening. The floor is open for endorsement motions. The floor is open for endorsement motions. Last chance. The floor is open for endorsement motions. And seeing none. No, Carmen's got one in. Carmen.
I'm having a hard time with my buttons today. I'm sorry. I'm trying to multitask, and that's entirely my bad. So I would like to motion from the floor I'm sorry, I'm trying to pull up my thing right now so I can do this properly. I'm trying to motion from the floor endorsement in addition to the King County District 4 race for oh my gosh. Why can I? Jorge Moron.
You're moving.
Jorge Boron.
Okay, you're putting on the floor the nomination to endorse Jorge Barone.
Yes, sorry. That was such a struggle for me. I apologize. It's been a long meeting.
It's okay.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Carmen, would you like to speak in favor of your motion?
I would, but it seems like we have other people who might be a little bit more prepared than I am at this point. And also as timekeeper, I would like to offer it to other individuals who would like to speak for.
Please use your raised hand to speak in favor of the motion to endorse Jorge Barone. Rita, do you have your hand raised to speak in favor?
Not this one. Sorry.
Thank you. Chair Chris Roberts.
There we go. Finding them sometimes is difficult. I'd like to happily speak in favor of Jorge Barone, who has been endorsed by the 32nd Legislative District, and we gave a dual endorsement, and I think it would be appropriate to give a dual endorsement in this race as well. I think that there's no question about all the good things that he's done in the community, and I think would make an excellent council member. Thank you.
Thank you. Do we have anyone speaking against the nomination to endorse Jorge Barone? Rep, sorry, Shep Solsley, how are you?
Good. I would say that, Jorge is a great guy, and I'm sure he'd be a perfectly fine candidate, but we did, as a committee and in our LD, interview all of the candidates, consider all of them very carefully, and felt that Sarah was the strongest candidate and should be the sole endorsement. We considered a dual endorsement. We didn't do it. And she has the sole endorsements of a number of LDs. So I think, like I said, I'm sure he'd be a fine candidate, but I think we feel that Sarah would be stronger. And I think that is also the position of the endorsement committee as well. That's where we landed. Thank you.
Thank you. Mary, are you speaking in favor?
Yes, I am. I was kind of on purpose holding back a little bit because I, wanted to give voice to people who are a little closer to this, but I was at an event unsolicited. One of our members came up to me and started talking to me about this candidate and what an amazing individual he is and all of the good things that he had done. I just out of nowhere, completely unsolicited. And I remembered his name. I looked him up. I was pretty amazed. I happened to meet him at the Pride Parade, and in person, he was amazing. And so I'm just giving voice to these things that I've heard about him. And I would just like to say that if this comes up, I'm just going to have my voice.
Thank you. Do we have a speaker against? Do you have a speaker against? Judy Gibbs.
Yeah, if you don't have anybody else speaking against, I'll do it. But if there's somebody who can speak stronger than I am, can.
You're the only one with your hand raised, so I will call on you.
Okay, I would like to speak in favor of maintaining our sole endorsement of Sarah for exact. What's the problem?
I'm just curious, are we speaking against or for the motion of a dual endorsement? Or are we speaking against?
I'm speaking against the dual endorsement.
Thank you for clarifying. My apologies.
Thank you.
Okay, do I have how much time do I have left at this point, Carrie?
You have 1 minute. You have 1 minute and like 1 minute and like 50 seconds. You have almost all your time. You're fine.
Okay, well, that's what I wanted to know because I started and I got interrupted. I would concur with what Shep has said. I think Sarah has really amazing experience. I think Jorge would be a good candidate down the road for some things, but I think Sarah has the experience that we want on the council. She's been chair of the 36th. I think we all know her from that. She's done a tremendous amount of work. I think her experience as a public attorney has helped. I'll add that she also knows L&I law, L&I attorneys, which I appreciate. Thank you, Sarah. But I just think she would be the strongest candidate on the council, and I don't want to do dual endorsement on this. I think there are other positions that Jorge could fill. For example, if Teresa Mosqueda is elected to the council, then there's going to be a vacancy on the city council, and maybe Jorge could fill that in. So I think there are other things he could do, but I want to maintain the endorsement of the strongest candidate, which I think is Sarah Rainavolt. So I oppose this dual endorsement.
Thank you, Judy.
I think that's all I have to say.
Thank you. We've had 2 speakers for and 2 speakers against. Before I move it to vote, Bunny Hatcher.
Thank you. I just had a quick question. She just said, well, if Teresa Mosqueda's seat is vacated, he could run for that, but wouldn't he have to live in that district? I think maybe I'm a little confused about, can you run for different districts?
No, because that's it. Because that's an at-large position.
Correct.
Teresa Mosqueda is at-large, so if he lives anywhere in the city of Seattle, he could fill that position.
Thank you.
He might be a strong candidate for
Judy. Thank you. Thank you. We are now moving to vote. Just like we have with all the other races, please direct message the exact same tally committee member that you have been direct messaging with. And the motion on the floor is the endorsement of Jorge Barón for King County Council District 4. This will need a supermajority, a 2/3 vote, and it will then be a dual endorsement for this position. And while we're waiting for tally, if someone has good of the order, this would be a great time.
Carrie, I have a question. This is Lisa again. Are the King County Dems gonna put on their website kind of a list of all the little city events that are going on this month and next month?
We would love to. Would you be willing to volunteer some of your time?
Well, I can definitely work with you. If people email them in, happy to help, happy to put those out. Because I know we have a few here on the east side that are kind of fun.
That would be great. So. Yeah, we just need a couple more volunteers, but that would be fabulous. Thank you.
Okay, so everybody send in your events so we can go support each other and each other's candidates.
I'm going to put that in the follow-up email that I'll send out. So thank you, Lisa. Laura Williams.
Sorry, it took me forever to unmute. I just had a quick question. Did we end up endorsing Marley Larimore?
Yes.
All right. Just wanted to make sure it got done.
Yep. She was in the slate. Yeah.
Perfect. Thank you.
Thank you. And we're plugging again our August 20th event, our summer barbecue. And it's put in chat. So I would love, that'll be an event. Well, also, Lisa, I'm sending it to you. We'll get posted. It's that way candidates can meet electeds. They can, it's just a great end of summer kickoff. Thank you for being so patient too. It's been a great evening. We're almost at our time, but as with most meetings, we might go long. We're coming close to our 9:30. And Tally, do we need a couple more minutes?
2 more would be great.
Okay, great.
Thank you.
Let's see. So I can pick an LD if there's any events that you would like to share. Mary Scammon, my 37th. Do you have any events that you want to share with the executive board?
Oh, you're putting me on the spot.
Totally.
No, we're going to be we're going to have a booth at the Othello Festival. Thank you very much for your good guidance on that, because we did it last year under Harry's watch, and it was the most fun ever. And so that was the first thing when we met in February as a executive board. It's like, what did we do last year that was the best? The Othello Festival. So we're going to have a booth there, and we're going to do voter registration and meet and greets with a couple of our elected officials. And thank you very much. Yes.
Thank you. And you have a banner. You've got the 37th LD
I've got
banner.
the banner. Yes, thank you. I do.
I was keeper of the banners, so I had to divvy those back out.
Thank you. Yeah, I actually had it unrolled a little bit at the festival after the parade yesterday, and a couple of people just like on the grass next to me, and some people were coming up. What are you doing? And so it represents very well. Yes.
Very cool. Yvette Magana.
Yeah, I just wanted to send a reminder, if you are in the 45th, 46th, 47th, or 48th, please send me your tally, just because I have some folks I'm noticing dropped off, and I'm not sure if that's because they can't find me or what's going on. So if we could just have like 1 or 2 extra minutes.
You bet. And I will call on the chair of the 41st because he's here. Is the 41st have events you would like to share coming up? That would be you, Jeremy Barksdale, chair of the 41st.
Sorry, I was typing actually that I was going to make a motion to extend after the tally. Yes, we have a picnic coming up July 22nd from 11 to 3 at Lakemont Park. And it's a fundraiser. So come hungry, come ready to socialize. And yeah, I look forward to seeing you.
That's great. Thank you.
Thank you.
And Jackie, in the 33rd, do you have any events coming up this summer?
We have our annual summer picnic at Angle Lake on Sunday, July 9th from 3 to 5. So we'll be grilling and cooking, but we're asking everyone to bring a side dish or a dessert.
Fabulous. Thank you.
Thank you.
Mary Williams, chair of the 5th LD.
Hi, yeah, we have lots of festivals in the 5th. Because we have a pretty good size footprint. So we'll be at Black Diamond Miners Days. I'm pretty sure that's July 16th. We'll be at Black Diamond Labor Days. We'll be at the festival at Mount Si. I think that covers there. And then hopefully Salmon Days. There's a little bit of a question about whether they're going to allow political participation at Salmon Days this year. So we're working our way through that now.
Oh, that's great. Lots of events. It's fabulous. Tim Burns.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you. The 30th LD is going to have a booth at the 4th of July celebration in Federal Way on the 4th of July. And also we're going to have our annual picnic on August 12 at Celebration Park in Federal Way.
Great. Fabulous.
Oh, excuse me, that's Town Square Park, not Celebration Park.
Oh, did you say Town Square?
Town Square Park, yes.
Carolyn Park. Carol, you might be on mute.
Mute. There we go. Okay, I'm Carolyn Hart from Black Diamond from the 5th. And on my calendar, which is not 100% official, I have marked that the Dems are at Miners Days on Saturday, the 15th. So there is some question there as to which day of the weekend.
It is Saturday. You're right. I think I got it wrong.
Oh, thank you, Mary. I don't know if anybody will be swarming out here because of that, but I just thought I would mention it.
Thank
Okay.
you. Perfect. Thank you. Tally, how are we for the
Whoops. You lowered my hand and I
Yes,
Yeah.
we have for Jorge Barone, we have 20 yes votes, 16 no votes, and 2 abstentions. So that is 55.6% in favor. 20, 16, and 2, 55%.
Just shy of 2/3. Jeremy Barksdale.
I was just going to make a motion to extend the meeting by 15 minutes.
Okay. Gonna hold on that. I'm just gonna finish off. So the motion to dual endorse Jorge Barone didn't meet the threshold needed for that endorsement. The motion on the floor right now is to extend our meeting by 15 minutes. Is there a second?
I'll second that.
Are there any objections? Any objections? Any objections? The motion passes. Thank you. And the floor is open for endorsement motions. Christiana De Leon.
Okay. Yes, I will make a motion also on a dual endorsement for Donald Cook for Kent School District.
And you said Donald Cook?
That's correct.
Is there a second?
Second.
Donald Cook has been moved and seconded. Christiana, would you like to speak to your motion?
Sure, I'd be glad to. So really briefly, Donald Cook is newer on the scene. He's retired military. He's also been endorsed by the Washington Education Association. So when we're talking about opportunities to make sure that we're listening to education staff and the students that they serve, this is a really important move. So when I'm speaking to people who share our same values, this is one. This is somebody who's also been endorsed by a local legislative district. And I think we need to give them a fighting chance to drive the Kent School District in a desperately needed new direction. I can't go enough into how much the Kent School District is in need of some drastic overhauls and how much new perspectives and new voices are desperately needed when we have budget shortfalls, when we have so much administrative load at the top, but staff members can't get what they need. Mental health supports are failing. My spouse is a Kent School District educator and comes home every day with stories about how few resources he has just to take care of the students there. So this is really personal to me. This is personal to so many Kent School District families, whether it's families of staff or students or both. So I'm just hoping that tonight, we use the power of our voices and our votes and give somebody who's willing to really step into a really ugly situation that's rife with a lot of bullying, a chance to just give a fresh, positive restart to this district. So please consider it. Please vote for him. Please let's help this really diverse district get some new voices and people who are going to be advocating for everybody in this area.
Which position?
Let me look again with the number. I'm sorry that I'm not
Position
expressing the number.
It's position 3.
Position 3. Thank you.
If it's
Kent School Board Director, position 3.
if it's a dual
Point of order.
endorsement, who's the other person we've endorsed?
The other person is Leslie Hamada.
Okay.
And are they running for they're running for the same position?
Correct.
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Wait.
Are there any speakers against the nomination of Donald Cook for Kent School Board? Laura Williams.
Point of inquiry is, has Donald, whatever this guy's name is, has he said he's a Democrat?
He sought a Democratic endorsement. Oh, go ahead. Sorry, Martin.
Yeah, yes, he has declared that he is a Democrat. Yes. And he completed a questionnaire.
Was it just a question, Laura?
Sorry, I'm getting talked to by kids. I just, we've already made an endorsement in this race, and the 47th fully supports Leslie Hamada. So I just don't think that this is our guy. And I would encourage KCDCC to vote no.
Thank you. Do we have another speaker for the nomination of Daniel Cook for Kent School Board Director, position 3? Rita Miller, are you speaking in favor?
No, I wanted to speak against.
Okay. And do we have a speaker for the nomination to endorse Donald Cook? Is there a speaker for? We've had one speaker for and one speaker against. We will now move this to Jesse Weber. Are you speaking in favor?
Yes, ma'am. I was on the endorsement committee who interviewed the questions, and Daniel Cook was someone who seemed to have totally be committed to what's good about education in this country. And so that's all I got. He was good. I liked him. He should be endorsed. Thank you.
Thank you. And Rita Miller, speaking against.
Yeah, I too was on the interview with him, and he was okay. But when he got to the question about environment, he totally denied that that was an issue, and he started talking about dogs dying. And I wrote it all down, and I wrote it on my vote with what he said about that. But basically, he said that we just need to live with it, and that was totally wrong. Thank you.
Thank you. We've had 2 speakers for and 2 speakers against. We will now move to vote. And please direct message the same tally committee member. You guys have been direct messaging all evening. And the motion on the floor is to endorse. Is it Donald or Daniel Cook? I'm so sorry. I just don't have it in front of me.
It's Donald.
Donald. Okay, I did have it right. Okay, Donald Cook, Kent School Board Director, position 3. And while we're waiting, I will open up for good of the order for events in your legislative district. And again, I really appreciate, we all appreciate, just from our leadership team, your patience, your engagement, your sticking it out with us. I know there's a lot of meetings for endorsements this month, and we just appreciate you. Justin.
Yes, thank you. So we do have an upcoming summer picnic for the 43rd. It will likely be sometime in August, and we will have a date coming. But we also wanted to just say thank you to the community at large for supporting our Pride brunch this weekend. It was a great event.
Fabulous. I heard it was great. Thank you, Justin. Lisa Weber.
Yeah, so on 4th of July at noon, Kirkland is going to have their annual 4th of July parade. And this year, the East Side Democrats, consisting of the 48th and 45th, are walking with Manka Dhingra and Patty Cooter, who will both be seeking statewide election next year. So come and join us and meet them and talk to them. And it is a lot of fun.
And where is it at in Kirkland?
Kirkland, and it's right down by the water. If you park at the garage next to the library, that's perfect. And then just follow the parade route until you see us. And I can also send in if you actually go to ld48dems.org to sign up to be with us in the parade, you'll get a notice over the weekend of where to go for the staging.
Oh, fabulous. Kat Pipkin.
I'm so sorry. I think we may have a point of order here. I just double checked, and Donald did not submit his questionnaire until June 22nd, which is after the window for which we accept them until the primary.
Had he started it beforehand?
No.
Yeah. What?
Okay.
No, so I don't know. Point of order. Yeah, I don't. I'm not sure he's eligible.
I'm not sure because, but we accepted his questionnaire and we interviewed him. He began submitting his questionnaire during the time when we had made an extension for submissions. And then we had a site crash while that was happening and he finished it. So I would deem him to be eligible. I mean, we even included
Martin,
him.
we gave people 3 additional days and then he took, 2 more weeks after that. So I'm not sure how much. Anyway, just lifting it up as a potential point of order. Y'all make the decision you make.
I will have to defer to the chair of the endorsement committee on eligibility.
So my opinion, with all due respect to Kat, is that we accepted that questionnaire for consideration by the committee, and we did consider him as part of this race. So he should be eligible for endorsement, provided that the executive board votes 2/3 to endorse him.
Thank you. Tally, how are we looking on votes?
2 more minutes would be great.
Okay, 2 more minutes. I'm trying to see who else is here who can give us an update on their legislative district. Good to the order. Events. We will get them posted. Thank you everyone for sharing what's coming up. It's going to be a fun summer. Martin Cheney.
Sure, I would like to call out an upcoming event. It's a 4th of July parade in Carnation. I believe that the check-in time is 9:30, and I happen to have received a call recently from Kim Schreier's campaign, so she will be there walking in the parade. Carnation is in the 12th LD in the far eastern reaches of King County. They are a district that we are trying to raise up because they are basically a Republican district. But if you would like to have an opportunity to basically hang out for an hour or 2 hours with Kim Schreier, that would just be awesome, because the way that parade works is that people stand in line for about 2 hours while we wait for the parade to move, and then we walk for 5 minutes from the one end of town to the other end of town. So again, great opportunity to just chat with one of our great progressive Democratic House representatives.
Date and time of that?
It's a 4th of July parade, so I believe it's on the 4th of July, which is next week, Tuesday. The check-in time starts at 9:30. The actual parade starts at 11 o'clock, and people stand around for a long time waiting for the people ahead of them to get moving. So, and the event like triple or quadruples the population of the town. So, so traffic is an awesome traffic jam getting into town, because we do close the state highway for the event.
Thank you, Martin. Lisa Weber, and then Chair Jackie.
Yeah, Carnation's been in the news because the pride flags of a lot of the business owners were being torn down on the weekend. And so anyone that can go and support them, they have some really great candidates running for their city council that we should go and support. And of course, one of them is LGBTQIA plus, and she's amazing. And she could use all the support she could get. And we in Kirkland will have Suzanne Delbene. But I would go support Carnation just as much as Kirkland. Yeah, thanks.
Thank you, Lisa. Jackie.
Thank you, Chair. I failed to mention that Burien has a 4th of July parade as well, and we will be sharing that with both the 33rd and the 34th LD. And that is up, yes, on the 4th of July. So we're meeting at 2:30 p.m. in downtown Burien, Southwest 153rd between Ambom and 6th Avenue Southwest. And I'm sure we'll have lots of elected officials there. I don't know about members of Congress, but it's another local parade that we encourage all our members to join us there. Thank you.
Thank you. Josh Wilmot.
Hi. Yeah, this comment is more of a reaction or response to the points that one of the other representatives made about this candidate for the Kent School District. I just wanted to press, as a climate activist, the need to really take climate change seriously. It was just, the Seattle Times just released an article about the accelerating loss of ice that is continuing to decline along Mount Rainier. Just, I think over the last 2 years, we've lost 3 more glaciers, and the pace.
Josh, this is speech because this is good to the order.
Okay.
Yeah.
I just want to say that I said go visit our national parks, particularly Rainier. It's a beautiful place.
There you go. Yes, thank you for that. Speaking of which, Tally, do we have a vote?
Yes, we do. For Kent School Board Donald Cook, we have 6 yes votes, 20 no votes, and 8 abstentions.
The motion does not pass, did not reach our threshold. Jeremy Barksdale.
I'll wait till this is done, and I'm going to move that we adjourn.
Okay, so so the motion to endorse Donald Cook does not pass. Rep. Holly Hill.
I would like to move to dual endorse Erica Conway for Renton City Council position 3.
Okay, is there a second? Is there a second?
Sorry, I had disconnected from audio and now there's an echo. I'll second Galaxy Marshall.
Erica Conway has been moved and seconded. The endorsement for Renton City Council position, what was the position number?
3.
3, sorry, I wrote down 7. Would you like to speak in favor of your motion?
Yes, I would.
I can, point of order,
Oh, I'm Lisa Weber. Chair Weber.
When we do these dual endorsements, can you let us know if we've endorsed somebody that they're running against?
Absolutely.
And who that person is? Thanks.
Okay. Absolutely. The Renton City Council member that we have endorsed is just pulling it out.
Valerie O'Halloran.
Valerie O'Halloran. And she was endorsed, she was pulled from the slate. And then we endorsed her. And now Rep. Holly Hill has moved for endorsement for Erica Conway.
Thank you, Madam Chair.
Point of information, Madam Chair, since we are over time and Jeremy only extended the meeting by 15 minutes and it's already 9:48 p.m. Do we need to extend the meeting before we continue onward, because out of respect for everyone's time?
I was actually going to make a motion to adjourn right after the tally announcement.
I know, that's why I'm bringing this up because it's really late.
We're climbing into the
so the previous motion, so we've got a motion on the floor. I'm going to ask a parliamentarian, because we either need to extend the time, and I didn't come back to your adjournment motion. What's the right call on this, James?
Sorry, it's going to take some time to figure this one out. This is an unusual problem.
Tara Gallagher.
Do it in the time.
Was there a posted adjournment time in the call or in the agenda?
It was 9:30. Judy Gibbs.
Yes, we've been on this for 3.5 hours.
Thank you.
We've been meeting for 3.5 hours. I think the adjournment time was 9:30.
Correct.
When did I joined at about 6:40, the meeting was, I thought we were starting at 7. The meeting was already underway at 6:40. When did it start?
6:30. So the motion to adjourn was spoken prior to Holly speaking.
So I believe a motion to adjourn is privileged and can be voted on now before we consider the endorsement.
Okay, thank you.
Move to adjourn.
Is there a second?
Second.
Second.
Are there any objections?
Just point of order, was that seconded before Holly made her motion?
No.
No. I had raised my hand to second that, and then it was quickly cut off. So.
And as a reminder, a motion to adjourn is not debatable.
Also, just my point of information, this race doesn't have a primary. It will go directly to the general. So this candidate has time to gain a dual endorsement at the next King County endorsement meeting.
Thank you, Carmen. Judy Gibbs.
Oh, I'm sorry. I forgot to lower my hand.
Oh, thank you. So the motion to adjourn has been seconded. All those in favor, say aye.
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 The ayes have it. Thank you. And Holly, I will reach out. I apologize.
Count of nays?
I'm sorry, what was that?
Was there a count of nays? It's kind of weird doing a voice vote.
Zoom.
Okay, we can do a, sorry, all those opposed say nay.
I just have a point of order.
Yes.
If Holly's motion was on the table and it was seconded, and the adjournment was not seconded before her motion, then her motion is on the table and we can't have another motion until that one is resolved. So technically, I believe that we have to go into discussion or debate on Holly's motion.
If I may interject, the meeting ran beyond the scheduled adjournment time without being noticed before that motion was made. It will take me some additional time to research whether the original adjournment takes precedence over the motion that should not have been made.
I can motion this for next time.
Bye.
Holly, are you withdrawing your motion?
As long as it's open for another time,
Yes,
then yes.
thank you. And I'm going to close this out. All those opposed to adjournment, say nay. The ayes have it. Thank you, everyone, for a super productive meeting. I appreciate all of you, appreciate you staying in here with us. And I thank you.
Thank you.
Everyone have a great night. Bye. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone.
Thank you, Carrie and Endorsement Committee.